All right, our next speaker is the founder and CEO of the Belgian nonprofit organization Ethical Vegetarian Alternative. Please welcome Tobias Leenaert.
Thanks. Hello, everybody. I'm from across the Atlantic, and you know, one of the things they say there about Americans is that they're actually basically not really interested in what happens outside of America. Is that true?
No.
No. I figured it was not true. So I'm going to tell you something about Europe, just a little bit, and I'm going to just give you a little international perspective about around the movement. You know, some people, Europeans, when they come here, they say like, oh, it's so much better here, this vegetarian movement. And I hear a lot of Americans say, oh, in Europe, it's a lot better, actually. So who is right? And I think actually they're both right at the same time. Well, the people who say that it's better here in America, what am I doing wrong? The people who say that it's better here in America are right because you have an incredible choice of vegetarian options, both in restaurants and in shops, etc. We don't have that in Europe, not that much. So when I enter a restaurant here, it's like annoying to have so much choice. I'm really in pain to choose. Also because I'm just here for a little while and I know I'm going to visit each restaurant only once or twice, so I cannot taste what's on the menu. In Europe, or at least in Belgium, most vegetarian restaurants have only one or two things on the menu, which is kind of sad. Yeah, here. Is this better? In shops, it's like incredible. The offer you have, like Whole Foods here, is like amazing. So the amounts of vegan ice cream flavors is incredible. So the only thing I can impress my vegan friends here in the US is vegan Nutella that I bring sometimes. But I guess in the meantime you have it here also, right? I assume you don't. Okay, I'll bring you some next time. And there's a lot of vegan entrepreneurship here also. It's incredible, like the things that are happening here, like with cookbooks and restaurants and people setting up vegan businesses is really like, it shows you what the movement can be. Now, why is it better, or in what terms is it better in Europe? It's better in terms of legislation, I think. Like politics. Politics, legislation in terms of animal welfare, in terms of health, in terms of GMOs. We have more legislation about animal welfare, like we're phasing out gestation crates, we phased out or we eliminated battery cages, veal crates, etc. So all those things I think are better in Europe. Another example is my own organization. We are a very small country. Belgium is the size of the state of Maryland, and I think we have one of the bigger organizations, vegetarian organizations in Europe, if not in the world. We have 12, 13 paid staff members. And part of that is due to subsidies we get from the national government. And I think the Belgian national government is the only government in the world probably that gives structural subsidies to a vegetarian organization. We get $200,000 a year for the next 10 years that we receive from the government to work and to spread the vegetarian message. So I think that's something pretty unique. So, thanks. So at one point, the government just said like all kind of established socio-cultural organizations can submit their business plan, and we will elect the best business plans and we will honor them with subsidies. That's what they said. And so we submitted the business plan and we got subsidies. It was great. But nevertheless, if I compare Europe and the United States, I think this is where it's happening. And I think this is like, I think you are leading the world in terms of vegetarian evolution. When I enter a restaurant here, like Chicago Diner or whatever, and I say like, there's no reason why someday we could not all eat like this. You know, there's no reason at all. And I'm pretty convinced that, I don't know if I will see the day, but I'm pretty convinced that one day we will look back on what we did and we will like, you'll be writing PhDs on the question of why we did to animals what we were doing today. We will wonder how it was possible. But for that to happen, there's still a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of things that can happen to speed that process. One is like disasters with meat and like scandals and like flus and influenzas and whatever, but I don't know if we want that. And the other thing, the thing that's most important is us. You know, vegetarian organizations, they're only like a few people. But there's millions of vegetarians in the US. There's probably 150,000 vegetarians, vegans in Chicago. And I don't know if you heard this calculation, like if any one of us, if any person who's already vegetarian today would convince another person to go vegetarian in 5 years, just one in 5 years, each of us, and they would do the same, then the whole United States would be vegan in a couple of decades. So the things we can do ourselves, that's a lot. So I think the basic thing is like to be very good ambassadors, all of us, of the vegetarian cause. And to be a good ambassador, I think the main thing about that is openness and tolerance. And what helps me is to see all of us, literally all of us, vegetarians, meat eaters, vegans, whatever, everybody in the same boat, evolving towards another state in our evolution. Evolving towards a plant-based diet. And a plant-based diet, a vegan, gluten-free, raw, organic, local, fair trade plant-based diet is not even the end, you know? But we're evolving towards eating better. And we're all in that together. And all of us, also the staunchest meat eater, cares about something in that message. Cares about his health or about his about good food even. It could be about the animals, but it doesn't have to be. So all of us care about something. And I think that's very important to keep track of and to keep in our mind. And when I feel bad sometimes, when I feel dejected or discouraged by seeing animals suffering or whatever, I think that optimism, you know what they say about optimism? Optimism is a moral duty. And that's a very wise statement. It's a moral duty because when we're optimistic, we can achieve more. So that's why we have to be optimistic. There's no other choice, right? And I think also there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. And one of them is you, and one of them is this Chicago Pride Parade. And I also want to congratulate the people here, you and the people, the organizers, Vadim and his crew, for organizing this, for putting this together, and for helping to speed this process, this evolution towards a worldwide plant-based diet. Thank you very much.